What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Lake Mead. Let's fish that. I'm out here today at Pyramid Island to quickly show you guys where exactly that is. This little mountain range we have here, this is actually Pyramid Island. Due to the drop in the water levels, this is no longer an island, it is a little mountain or hill. Just on the opposite side of this little hill we have Boulder Harbor. That is why many people sometimes refer to this as Boulder Harbor, but you are not allowed to fish in the harbor, so we are just on the outside of the harbor. You're allowed to fish here. Some people also refer to this as the Pump House Cove, which is not correct. On top of the mountain, on the hill there, we have a little pump house with a pipe coming into the water. That is why people call this Pump House Cove. But that is actually not correct. Pump House Cove is a few coves or a few clicks north of us. So to the north of Boulder Harbor you will find Pump House Cove. So this is not Pump House Cove, nor is it Boulder Harbor. That is why I'm going to refer to this spot just simply as Pyramid Island. What makes this spot a bit different from the other places that I fished in Lake Mead, so on this side we have our harbor, we have the entire Lake Mead. On that side we have the Boulder Beach with lots of people swimming and sunbathing, and this particular spot here in between we have a little channel coming in from the deep going back into this cove. So we have a flat on that side where the beach slopes in, and where these bushes are, there's again a small flat going in, but behind that flat is a big drop off into deep water. So you have a large piece of deep water, and that brings in this little channel into the cove, and that is where you'll find stripers during the summer months. During the winter months, as they prefer cold water, they will go onto the flats. You can find them on the flats. But during the summer months they go into the deeper, colder water, and this particular spot is a good spot for stripers to ambush prey. You have little shad and stuff here in the shallow parts, and rather than swimming all the way around to get to the other side, they make a run for it over this channel, and that is where we find the stripers ready to ambush the fish. So I'm going to be trying to fish for some stripers over here today. Normally I do my videos in the morning, that gives me the entire day to film. Right here at the moment I'm doing it late in the afternoon. Problem with this is 4 p.m. is actually the hottest time here in Nevada. That's when the day reaches its peak, meaning only after that is when the fish will start coming back to the shallows to feed again, when it cools down a bit. Problem with this is that leaves me only with 2 or 3 or 4 hours worth of sunlight, and it's not the best type of sunlight as the sun goes behind the mountains, and my little camera has a problem with low light conditions. So I'm going to try and catch some stripers while there's still light to do so. So let's quickly get the stuff set up. Okay, so there is a big possibility that I might run out of sunlight and not being able to catch a fish while we have the light out still. Because of this, I'm going to add some extra stuff in this video to try and make a video out of this. For that reason, I've decided to do some DIY stuff in this video as well. Some DIY projects we were working on during the lockdown. I want to test these products out here today as well. First one being this little carry bag. This is actually one of those forever bags. I broke this one, and then my wife made a little carry bag for me to carry some stuff around when coming to the fishing waters, as this is quite a walk away from your vehicle. Now the key thing is inside this bag. So on the inside of this little bag I have some PVC tubing. This is not the normal white PVC pipes. This is something a bit different, a bit cheaper than the normal white PVC pipes. However, these don't handle the pressure that well as the white ones do. So this is a bit cheaper one, but it's perfect for fishing. I'm not going to put any pressure on them, so this is perfect for fishing. So I have a selection of different types, different lengths of pipes, as well as some connectors to try and build a stand. Nice thing about this, because we have different pipes, different lengths, different connectors, it's basically like Lego blocks. I can create my own stand. So let's quickly set up a stand and see what we got. Alright, and this is the idea with the stand. If I want to be using 4 rods, I have 4 little places where I can put my rods. So if I wanted to have 4 rods out here today, that is how I would configure the stand to do that. I am, however, not going to use 4 rods today, so I don't need this setup, so I'm quickly going to change it again. Okay, so this is the configuration for the stand that I'm going to be using today. So you might ask me, but why use a PVC rod stand? What is the point behind that? Normal rod holders that we get, ones like these, you buy them at Walmart, quite cheap. The problem I have with these is some of my rods actually don't fit in them. They are too big to go into these little rod holders, and that's where the little PVC comes in quite handy. This is a 1.5 inch PVC pipe, and we don't have any problems with fitting in our little rods in there. And that is why I'm going to use this today, to test to see whether this is sturdy and whether I can use this as a good rod holder for my rods. Alright, so we have our first rod baited using the normal anchovies, because we're trying to catch some stripers. Normal Carolina rig with just the anchovy head on there, casted it out. Now we'll wait for some fish on that. But on the second rod, I want to try something new, another DIY project of mine, and it is this. Now this little rig or setup that I want to be using today, this is basically a modified version of the Pulley Rig. So the way this works, I have a little swivel on here with 2 beads either side of my little swivel, and then some line with 2 more swivels, a lead weight, and my hook. The idea being, as you throw your lead weight out there, it hits the bottom and your hook is suspended off of the ground, not in the grass but above the grass. Better way for the fish to find it rather than going into the grass. And then if a fish takes your line, and if a fish takes your bait and swims off with it, it lifts the little lead weight, and as soon as it hits the other swivel, that is enough to actually set the hook on the fish. So the fish is already hooked basically, and it lifts your little lead weight off of the ground. So the fish is swimming around with your lure, and that will notify you by pulling on your rod. And hopefully this will work better to get some fish hooked, rather than having the normal way of having your baits down on the bottom in between the grass. Hopefully this, by elevating it out of the grass, this will work. So that is a different rig I want to be testing today, to see whether this is a great way of catching stripers during the summer months, as the grass is already starting to grow. And here I have that new pulley system of mine, the little Pulley Rig that I wanted to test out, baited with our little anchovy. Idea being, if a fish runs with this, it will raise that part, and hopefully it won't get stuck on any grass or rocks. I have to point out on my pulley system that I'm using 20-pound line, main line between the beads. That's 20-pound line, and then from my swivel to my hook I have 10 pounds line. Likewise with the little lead weight, it's also 10 pounds line. The general rule of thumb, for each ounce you have on your lead weight, you need 10 pounds worth of line. 1 ounce lead weight, that's why I have 10 pounds line. The idea being that should either the hook or the lead weight get stuck somewhere, you want the line to break. You want the smaller line to break, rather than having your main line break and you lose the entire rig. You can rather tie on a new hook or tie on a new lead weight, rather than building an entirely new rig. But let's quickly get that out there. Okay, and that's my little rod stand, my 2 rods baited out there. Only thing we can do now is wait for some stripers to come out of the deeper water as they come into this channel. Hopefully we can catch some of them before the sun goes down or before it gets too dark. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we get anything. Alright guys, so my Carolina rig rod keeps coming back with lots of grass on there, so putting it aside for a while, switching over to some small hooks to see if I can perhaps catch a fish at least. Gonna use my little sardine pieces and thread that on the hook. Let's see if we can at least get some kind of fish. And there we are guys. Not the fish that I wanted to catch today, but baby little green sunfish. Light conditions are quite bad, don't know if you guys can see it, but using small little pieces of sardine on a small hook, we at least got a baby little green sunfish. Let's unhook him and let's get him back to the water. And there he goes. Okay, second little green sunfish. This one came off right here at the edge. I managed to get a hold of him. Let's get him back into the water. Alright, so at least having caught some fish for today, I'm going to put away my small rod and rebait my big ones and get them back out there. Alright guys, the moon's out, and judging by the mountains there on the other side of Lake Mead, I have about half an hour's daylight left. Having lots of bites on the setup with the baits raised, but they seem to be bluegill or something, small fish, picking out the eyes, stuff like that. The other rod I'm quickly going to bring in, I'm going to take off the Carolina rig, put on something like a high-low rig where you have one hook above, one hook below. Hopefully that will also raise the baits above the grass. Let's see if that works for the last half hour. And we finally got something on this rod guys, but I think it might be a little terrapin. So clearly the rig does work, but not for fish. Okay, so this is my second little terrapin. First one from Lake Mead. Quite an angry little guy. Not the fish that I wanted, but my second little terrapin. Second one I've caught ever. Second one from the US. Quickly gonna release him. And off he goes. And that's how it goes when fishing a new spot. Have to figure out where all the holes are, where to find the fish. Lots of bushes in front, lots of grass in deep. So you have to figure out where to go. But quite a fun time out here. So my little DIY projects, we tested the stand, we tested the rig. Quite a good way to test these little things, even though I didn't catch any fish. Even though I didn't catch any stripers, at least I tested this stuff. We caught those small fish. Definitely a spot that I will try out again. Alright guys, what a strange day out here. Came out here with some anchovies, hoping to catch some stripers. Ended up getting 3 of those tiny little green sunfish here from the shallow parts. And also got that 1 terrapin using the little anchovies. But unfortunately, no stripers for this little video. Quite typical. Come out here to show you guys this good fishing spot for summertime striper fishing, and I don't get a single striper from this place. I have, however, seen people caught stripers here before. I've seen some big ones being pulled out from here, and the normal standard size stripers, I want to say. Lots of them out here as well, but most of them I have seen being caught in the mornings, not in the afternoons. Maybe if you wait till it's a bit colder, a bit darker, nighttime fishing, you might catch some. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be working this time of the day. Alright guys, but that's where I'm going to end off this video, with a nice little red shine on the mountains there in the background. Isn't this just a lovely place to be? So feel free to write any comments down below, ask any questions down below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. It does help so that other people also see this video. If this is the first video of mine you're seeing, please feel free to watch my channel, see what other spots I have on my channel, and please do hit the subscribe button. Help me grow my community. So thank you for watching and spending some time with me, and I'll see you next time.